Hi there guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Bryndis, and today I decided to do a tag video. I love watching these tag videos, and I could do like 50 of them a month easily. I really love those, so I figured why not. And then I saw this one, the birth year tag. I thought it would be like super interesting, at least to me, maybe also to you. At least if you were born in the year of 1975, then perhaps you will find this interesting. Maybe also if you were born another year, maybe also hopefully you will find this interesting and fun for sure. But anyway, let's go into the birth year tag. So question number 1, have you read any books published in the year you were born? Yes, I have. So I just kind of Googled books published in 1975, and I saw got a list, and so there were at least 3 of those that I have read. So that's really interesting. So the first book that was published in 1975 that I have read is Salem's Lot by Stephen King. It is a really good vampire book. I do have a video that I published a couple of weeks ago, probably by this point, on some of the books, Stephen King books I've read. So you can hear me talking more about it there. But yeah, so it was definitely an interesting book. I think I gave it 3 stars if I remember correctly, because it's not perfect for sure. But yeah, it was a fun and very scary vampire book, at some to some degree for sure. Another book that I've read that was published in 1975 is Michel Foucault, Discipline and Punishment. I actually have it here. No, Discipline and Punish. Yeah, that's what I thought. There's no punishment there. Discipline and Punish. Michel Foucault is was a French philosopher, a post-structuralist, and I used his kind of theories on power and human agency as kind of a theoretical framework when I was doing my master's degree. So I read a lot of Michel Foucault, and it's not for the faint-hearted, let's just say. But the book was very interesting for sure. And then the third book that I can remember, at least having read, published in 1975, is Curtin Poirot's Last Case by Agatha Christie. I've read everything written by Agatha Christie except for her Mousetrap play. So yeah, I really love this book. And then a part of this question is like, what was your favorite? And like, do you have any other favorites? And so my favorite of these 3 books was Poirot's book, Agatha Christie, Poirot's Last Case. It was just a very sweet book. Poirot had gotten old, and was dealing with things that come with old age. And yeah, I really enjoyed that book, and it was kind of bittersweet to know that it was kind of the last book where he was the main, being the investigator, the brilliant investigator that he is. But I also liked Foucault's book, Discipline and Punish, which is kind of about the how punishment has developed through the ages, and the birth of the prison, and I don't know, all of these things are so, I think, important to think about. And just post-structuralism in general, I think, is has given us so many things to kind of talk about, and having different truths and different viewpoints. There isn't just one thing that is right, one thing that is true. It's much more complicated. Our lives is so much more complicated. So I really like his kind of, even though his writing is quite dense and somewhat complicated, it's very interesting. So yeah, so Poirot and Foucault, both my French-speaking men, were definitely my favorites of the three books. And then another question connected to the year books published in the year I was born is that, do you pledge or do you want to read any other books published the year you were born in the next 6 months, and why you want to do that? And I do actually have a book that I didn't know until I was Googling and looking at the books published in 1975. I didn't know that at that time that The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris was actually published that year. My favorite thriller ever is Red Dragon, which is Hannibal Will Graham book. It is so good. The book is so good. The movie is so good. It's just perfection for me. And I was just thinking the other day, because I'm kind of on the hunt for a good thriller or good thrillers, that I would like to read. I haven't read all of his books, all of the Hannibal books. I think there are 4 rather than 3. So I would really like to read The Silence of the Lambs as part of that, readathon of the Cannibal universe. So yeah, I would love to read that book. And that was kind of the only book on the list that I kind of felt, yeah, I would really like to read that. Nothing else kind of screamed at me. So the second round of questions for this tag is, have you read any books published in the year you turned 18? And if so, what's your favorite and why? So I turned 18 in the year 1993. And I have actually read at least 2 books that was published back then. And, obviously I Googled like books published in that year. And these were the books that I at least could remember having read. So the first book that was published in 1993 that I have read is The Client by John Grisham. I used to love John Grisham. I think I read all of his legal drama books. I loved them. For a period at least, I was all into legal drama. Like thriller, there were so many of his books that I really enjoyed. So I also liked the movie that was made from it in 1994, I think. And it was just, it was a very good, thrilling book. And then the other book that I read that was published in 1993 is actually Voyager by Diana Gabaldon in the Outlander series. I had no idea that this book had been published such a long time ago. I have, in the last 2 or 3 years, I have been reading, I discovered the Outlander books and I've been reading them, and I did not realize that they were this old, the original ones, or like the first ones in the series. So I love this book. I love the Outlander series. I love the books somewhat more than the TV show, but the TV show is okay though. But I think one of the reasons also I love these books is because I've been listening to them narrated by Davina Porter, who is one of my favorite ever audiobook narrators, and she just does a really good job. Voyager was not necessarily my favorite. I think I love the book, but it was not a 5-star. It was a 4-star read. There were other books that I liked more in the series, and of course I cannot wait for the last book to hopefully will be published this year, or is it next year? I'm not quite sure, but I look forward to that very much. Question 3. Of the last 10 books you read, how many were published before you were born? And I'm assuming that they mean originally published, like. So of the last 10 books that I read, 4 of them were published before I was born. There was an Icelandic play based on a novel. The novel is Iceland's Bell, and the author, Halldór Laxness, he wrote a play from that novel, and I read that one in January or like late January, and it was published in 1950. I also read Matilda by Mary Shelley, published in 1959, written in 1819 or something like that. I read Charlotte Bronte's biography by Elizabeth Gaskell, which was published in 1857. And then I read Shirley by Charlotte Bronte, published in 1849. I am reading a lot of classics, and both like Victorian classics as well as Icelandic classics. So I'm reading a lot of books that were published before I was born, for sure. The next question, number 4, is what's your favorite movie from your birth year and why? So I have to say that 1975 was a great year for the movies. I mean, I'm just going to mention very few, like the favorites that I remember really well. I mean, there were other movies, but these were like the one that stick out to me. So my favorite movie of that year was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson. Excellent acting, very important topic, and it deals with kind of human rights, really, rights of mentally ill people, treatment of mentally ill people, and yeah, I think it's just a really good movie. And then there was Jaws, hella scary movie. I remember that sound when that shark is like. I still think about it when I go into the ocean in like warmer climates where there are sharks. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Ha! Funny as hell, man. Ooh, buddy. I grew up with older siblings who loved Monty Python. And, we watched all the movies and the TV shows and whatever we could find. So, yeah, this movie is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. I remember seeing that when I was a teenager, and I thought it was just so kind of, whoa, what is that? It's a great movie. And I mean, Tim Curry, like, how can you not like this movie? And then the last one that I want to mention is The Return of the Pink Panther. Of course, I love the Pink Panther. I mean, that movie is so funny, and that actor, I can't remember his name now, but it was so funny. It was so funny. And then the last question is, what was your favorite movie from the year you turned 18 and why? So 1993, I like googled movies premiering in 1993, and there were like so many good movies. I found it very difficult to just choose one favorite movie, but I did. But the ones that I want to mention that I remember really enjoying, they were like This Boy's Life. Leonardo DiCaprio is a beautiful little boy. Very good, like dealing with some serious topic like child abuse and domestic violence and all those things, but such a good book. Dazed and Confused is like the most hilarious movie. It's so funny. They are like just high the entire movie. Yeah, it's a really funny movie. And there are like some big stars in that movie that, yeah, it's fun to see where they were then and where they are now. Groundhog Day, I really remember enjoying that. That was really a fun movie. It's quite famous. Sleepless in Seattle. I mean, seriously. That's like the movie of romantic comedy. Mrs. Doubtfire. Loved that movie. Loved that movie. Hot Shots. Hilarious. Oh my god, it's like so funny and just such a ridiculous movie. It's insane. Jurassic Park. I mean, Jurassic Park. Remains of the Day. It's a very adult. I don't think I remember watching it when it came out, but I have watched it as I became older, and I really like it now. I mean, it's a very kind of subdued movie for sure. Emma Thompson is just so good at playing characters that are suppressing their emotions. She's just so good at that. Then there's Much Ado About Nothing, which is fantastic. It's my favorite Shakespeare play, or at least it's comedy. It's such a great movie. There are fantastic actors in this movie, and it's just, yeah, I definitely recommend you watching the movie. I don't know if it's necessarily the best like depiction of the play, but it's a great movie. It's fun to watch. Philadelphia. That's obviously an iconic movie. It's such an important message, and Tom Hanks is just Denzel Washington. Yeah, it's a really great movie. And then The Fugitive. And The Fugitive is my favorite. It's a movie that I watched probably more than 5 times. I love chasing movies, like movies where someone is being chased and someone is doing the chasing, and you kind of root for both of them. You kind of want the one that's being chased to escape, but you also kind of want the one that's doing the chasing to capture the one that they're chasing. You know, they're just... Anyway, it's a really great, fun movie, and I loved it. So, here we have it. The birth year tag. Anyway, consider all of you guys tagged as well. Let me know if you want to do the tag. You can put your answers in the comments, or if you have a YouTube channel, you can do the tag and let me know. I would love to watch. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed and had fun listening to my ramblings about movies and books, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.